This is Paul Newman, and if you are seeing this screen, I am hoping to assure you here that the live stream will start very soon. So please stay tuned. Hello, everybody. This is Paul Newman. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Thank you very much for taking the time to join me today. As always, it is most appreciated here on this Thursday afternoon in the middle of March. I hope you are all keeping well and looking after yourselves this week. What I've got coming up for you today is we're going to take a quick look at some classic reviews today. We haven't done one of those for a while. We're gonna cross the new year. We're going to look at classics that have ran from December 2025 until February 2026. Some of them featured horses on the Classic Watch website, classicwatch26.great/site.net. Other races, well, they unfortunately didn't at this stage. What we're going to do in this video when we get started is we're going to take a look at 5 classics. We're going to take a look at 5 classics from 3 countries. We're going to take our first look at South Africa on the Classic Watch review series. We're going to take a look at the Cape Fillies Guineas and the Cape Guineas. Then we're going to go to New Zealand and take a look at the New Zealand Oaks. Then we're going to skip to February and take a look at the Australian Guineas, a race that was held at Flemington. And then we're going to end the video by going back to South Africa and taking a look at the Cape Derby, a race that was also held on the 28th of February. But before we do that, what I can do is I can guide you all to the Patreon channel, Newman Racing. The channel is called on Patreon. It's a bit of a mishmash, really, of content. Some paid content, some free content. There's plenty of resources on there as well. So why not head over to Patreon, Newman Racing, and have a look over there to see if there is anything suitable for you as well. It even gives you an opportunity to support me moving forward, should you wish to. It's entirely up to you and is no way compulsory. But there is an opportunity there over on Patreon for you to check out more of my content, particularly a lot of the National Hunt content, which has gone over to Patreon once I decided that I wasn't going to do a National Hunt website. A lot of the flat racing content such as this has to be on YouTube, really, because so I can embed the videos into my own personal YouTube channel, and also to reevaluate the sites. Reviewing sites is very important moving forward. It's important that people can evidence the fact that they are successful. And this site is successful, hopefully, by picking classic winners. Before we take a look at these 2025, the site has already taken out 2 classics before December, courtesy of Observer and Ole Dancer out in Australia. So without further ado, let's head to the first South African classic that we are going to take a look at here on Classic Watch reviews. These are now all these races are actually on the Classic Watch 26 website. There is no more crossover now to the Classic Watch 25 website like there was in the first 2 review videos that we did from July till December. There was obviously the other classics taking part in the other part of the world as well. But these ones are purely on Classic Watch 2026. So without further ado, let's take a look at the first race, shall we? And that first race is the Cape Fillies Guineas. I think it was held at Kenilworth. And it featured Princess of Gaul, who was the first South African horse I decided to try on Classic Watch 26. There is a few more now, but this was back then. On the possibles, I did chance Princess of Gaul among the fillies. She was a dual Group 2 winner lining up before this race, the Cape Fillies Guineas, sorry. So let's take a look at the race and see what we think.
Just about ready. Set. Gates are back. And they fired away. Golden Palm could have got a better start. Educator also sluggish into stride. Augusta Rosso no pace in the early stages. Quick Step Gull tugged herself off to the early lead. No one wanted to compete with Quick Step Gull. I think she's a reluctant leader, and she's in front. Second place is Reet Petite, blue sleeves and white cap. Stormwatch at the rail in third. Then comes Tulip Fields racing around 3 lengths off the leader in fourth, and Call Me Secret and Lowfelt Lily aren't all that far away. They follow by Princess of Gaul, the red sleeves and cap. Golden Palm is just behind midfield, but she got a run on the rail. Then came Wish List. They followed by Educator. Augusta Rosso is one from last, and Kirkenoff switched off at the back of the field. They went through the crossover and they approached the last 900 metres, and it's Quick Step Gull on the sharp end in the World Sports Betting. Cape Fillies Guineas, she's the leader by 1 length. Reet Petite is second. Stormwatch well placed at the rail third, 1.5 lengths behind the leader. Tulip Fields is fourth place, locked in fourth and 4 lengths from the front. Lowfelt Lily, Princess of Gaul, and then came Golden Palm. She's got the yellow cap and she races around 6 lengths from the leader. Wish List, Call Me Secret, Educator there further back. Augusta Rosso and finally Kirkenoff as they now approach the last 400 metres. It's Quick Step Gull on the lead. Stormwatch was quick to commit and she moved alongside. Reet Petite, blue sleeves and white cap races away in third. Then comes Princess of Gaul, Tulip Fields, Golden Palm not winning today. They got 200 metres left to go, and Quick Step Gull kicked away a 2-length leader. Reet Petite tries to set out after this leader. Then came Princess of Gaul and Wish List. It's Quick Step Gull in front in the World Sports Betting Cape Fillies Guineas. A fairy tale story for Tini Prinsloo. Quick Step Gull won. Second goes to Reet Petite. Then came Wish List, and fourth to Princess of Gaul. Quick Step Gull, a Grade 1 winner, the daughter of Vercingetorix, for Tini Prinsloo, who has approximately 12 horses in his yard. Lawrence Verners and family with Harry Wilson involved from start to finish. She had a picnic out in front. This daughter of Vercingetorix, bred by the Greenacres Trust nominee Marsh Shirtliff, and a chance, a plunge was taken on her by the Verners family, and she...
What a race there, and what a performance by Quick Step Gull, who led all the way to win the first South African Classic that we are taking a look at here in the Classic Watch process. Quick Step Gull was the winner, sired by Vercingetorix, out of a dam called Victoriana, both South African bred. Victoriana herself is out of a stallion called Jetmaster. Quick Step Gull, trained by Tini Prinsloo and ridden by Gavin Lorena, managed to win the race, running to a racing post rating of 113. Second place on the day was Reet Petite, sired by Rafif, out of a dam called Super Elegant, who herself is out of Dale Army. Reet Petite was trained by James Crawford and ridden by Richard Fury, running to a racing post rating of 110. And completing the place efforts was Wish List. Wish List, sired by Legislate, out of a dam called Windchill, who herself is out of Silvano. Wish List was trained by Justin Snaith and ridden by Samanga Kumalo, and she rode to a racing post rating of 107. In fourth place, sadly, just missing out on a placed effort, the first Classic Watch 26 horse, Princess of Gaul, sadly finishing fourth. Princess of Gaul, sired by Vercingetorix, out of a dam called Miss Marmalade, who herself was sired by Duke of Marmalade. Princess of Gaul, trained by Dean Kannemeyer and ridden by Craig Zaki. Finishing fourth, a racing post rating of 106 was gained on the day. So it's disappointing, really, that our first South African contender could not secure a placed effort at least, but she did. Finished fourth. She ran okay, I suppose. We can take a look at Princess of Gaul now. She hasn't ran in another classic since she ran on that race on the 6th of December 2025 at Kenilworth, finishing fourth. She then went to the Group 2 Sector Stakes, where the horse could only finish sixth, dropped down to 1,200 metres. She then ran in the Windhoek Olympic Jewel Stakes, where the horse could only finish second out of 11. That was in a listed race. But she did bounce back after that when she won the Grade 3 Prix du Cap, winning back over 1,400 metres. So this horse is a dual Group 2 and a Group 3 winner and a Grade 1 fourth. Will this horse be given another opportunity? Is the pattern there? for this horse to run. I was hoping really that the horse would go up in distance, but it doesn't seem to be happening at this stage for Princess of Gaul regarding a step up in trip. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if this horse can maintain her form. She is a solid pattern race horse, it's fair to say. The next race we're going to take a look at is also in South Africa, and I think the race was also on the same card. Well, that was the Cape Fillies Guineas. We're now going to take a look at the Cape Guineas, a race that I did look at with a view to trying to get some horses on a Classic Watch 26, but at this stage I didn't really fancy any of them. You know, it was tricky. There was 4 or 5 of them that were candidates, but then I thought, if I'm looking at putting 4 or 5 on a website, how certain can I be that I am on the right one? And this was only the second ever South African Classic that I had looked at. So I decided to give myself a bit more time here and watch them all go round in this race, the Cape Guineas. So let's take a look at that race now, and then we will see what we think.
Grade 1. Hollywood Bets Cape Guineas. Gates are back, and they sent on their way. They got away to a reasonable beginning. Absolutely, yes. A designated horse to go up and set the pace. Challenged early on by Pay the Palace. Star Major also wriggles up, and Good For You at the outside wants a piece of the lead as well. Then comes Jan van Gooyen against the inside rail. Got a neat position in 5th. Malmesbury Missile further back. Roland Garros. Then came Gimme Rules. He locks in a midfield spot with Aristocratic further back. Happy Verse travels just behind midfield with Vapor Trail. Not much between those two. A Versatile was next. Then came Beware and Fox on the run. They went through the crossover, 1,000 metres left to run. And the leader is Good For You in the Hollywood Bets Cape Guineas, has it by 1 length. Star Major is second. Absolutely, yes. Races away in 3rd. Then comes Pay the Palace, who's 1 off the fence. The white cap of Roland Garros. Jan van Gooyen, 5 lengths off the leader. Then came Aristocratic. Gimme Rules, Malmesbury Missile, Randolph Hurst just behind midfield. Then came Vapor Trail, Happy Verses in the orange and blue. Next best, we find a Versatile, Club Blue with a black cap. Beware and Fox on the run are the last 2. They got 500 metres left to go. Good For You. Star Major in the purple and white. Up the inside is Roland Garros. Pay the Palace. Then comes Jan van Gooyen. Got 3 to make up. Gimme Rules trying to launch with him. Randolph first over towards the inside, and Happy Verse becomes a player as well. 200 metres left to go, and here comes Jan van Gooyen over Star Major. Then comes Pay the Palace, Gimme Rules and Happy Verse. But the Flying Dutchman tells them tot sinks. Jan van Gooyen a cut above. He won the Hollywood Bets Cape Guineas in commanding fashion. Second goes to Happy Verse, then came Randolph Hurst. Further back to Fox on the run and Star Major. Mike and Matthew de Kock on the double. Callan Murray on the double. Jan van Gooyen, another grade 1 goes his way. And he has trotted up. You don't win the Hollywood Bets Cape Guineas in a procession unless you're an absolute superstar. Well done to Daniela Erasmus, Louisa Huntingford and Hank Leonard, bred by Mr. and Mrs. Trotter, Mr. Alexander and Bruce Campbell. What a,
like the commentator was saying there, very impressive winner, I thought, there on the day of the Cape Guineas. Jan van Gooyen seems to be a horse out there, doesn't he? The winner of the Cape Guineas, Jan van Gooyen, sired by Master of My Fate out of a dam called Daydream Believer, who herself was sired by Oratorio. Jan van Gooyen trained by Mike and Matthew de Kock and ridden by Callan Murray, running to a racing post rating of 112. Good enough to take out the Cape Guineas by 2 3/4 lengths. Second place on the day was Happy Verse. Happy Verse, a colt sired by Vercingetorix out of a dam called Song of Happiness, who herself was sired by Giant Causeway. Happy Verse was trained by Justin Snaith and ridden by Aldo Domea, I think that is. And the horse ran to a racing post rating of 106. Third place on the day was Randolph Hurst, a horse sired by Gimme the Green Light out of a dam called Babe Paley, who herself was sired by Fort Wood. Randolph Hurst, trained by Justin Snaith and ridden by John Paul van der Merwe, running to a racing post rating of 105. And the fourth on the day was Gimme Rules. Gimme Rules, sired by Gimme the Green Light, out of a dam called Real Princess, who herself was sired by Trippy, trained by Dean Kannemeyer and ridden by Craig Zaki, a racing post rating of 104 for that horse, Gimme Rules. So, yeah, I thought that was a pretty good performance by Jan van Hooyen on the day. 2 3/4 length victory in the Cape Guineas, over a mile. It will be interesting to see if that horse pops up again later on in the Classic Watch series. We're now going to leave South Africa for a while, this video, and head to New Zealand. And we're going to take a look at the New Zealand Oaks, I think a race that was ran on the 21st of February. The New Zealand Oaks, I think. I was looking at a filly in this race on Classic Watch. If we go to our New Zealand trained horses, you'll be able to see that we had Origin of Love. She had managed to win a Grade 3 trial and line up in the Guineas. But her form in the trials really left a lot to be desired, to the extent that Connections never even let the filly Origin of Love take her chance in the New Zealand Oaks, which sort of left us without a horse. We didn't really have a horse for New Zealand Oaks. Don't forget, this is the first season also we are doing New Zealand Classics, but we've looked at the Guineas in previous videos. So we're going to take a look now at the New Zealand Oaks, and then we will see what we think.
Let's bring it on. Gates open, they're off. In the New Zealand Oaks, and one of the first away was Autumn Glory. Going forward quickly is Clara Bow. Single Red is right there as well. So is Ariadne. Dux is further out wider. Fly Zeno's Savvy Donna into the extreme outside here. Ace is starting to stride forward as well. Good early speed as they come down past us on their first occasion. Settling back midfield next, Ultimate Habit. Just caught down on a limb, looks to try and get cover here. Then followed through on the inside, Autumn Glory, as they slam on the anchors, leaving the straight. Then Sweet Talking Gal, If I Give Out Deeper. Back over on the inside, next was Unbounded, followed by out wider next as they leave the straight is Born to Be Royal. Well back is Tajana. I hope he wins as anticipated. Got a long way back, third last in fact, followed by Crimson Sky, and last of all is Savina. So into the back they go in the Oaks. As they head out towards the 1400 metres mark, and Fly Zeno took over, led by a length from Savvy Donna. Acer is third, Dux is fourth the inside, 2 lengths away Ariadne. Single Red came next from Clara Bow, and then followed up on the outside by Ultimate Habit is back midfield. A length and a half off those, Autumn Glory, Sweet Talking Gal, and then If I Give. Locked away on the inside, next was Unbounded, followed round them by Tajana, with them also Born to Be Royal. I Hope He Wins is still back third last, the race favourite, followed by Crimson Sky, and Savina is last. They've come inside the 900 metres in the Albastri Equiworld Dubai New Zealand Oaks. There is 15 lengths over the field. New leader Fly Zeno took over, led by 2 lengths here. From in second spot Savvy Donna, and then came Dux, followed round by Acer. 2 back Single Red, biding its time on the inside of Ariadne. Ultimate Habit is back midfield, has been 3 wide for vast majority of the race, and then came in the centre. Next would have been Clara Bow, followed round then by Autumn Glory. Where's his favourite? I Hope He Wins. She's about to get on her bike. She would need to though. She is 12 lengths off them, turning in. Here they come, 4:50 to go. Fly Zeno led from Savvy Donna. Single Red is about to pounce on them now. 2 lengths away, Ultimate Habit's running on. I Hope He Wins down the outskirts. She is low flying here at the 150. I Hope He Wins. Autumn Glory gets out late from Single Red. I Hope He Wins. And the Yulong colours, they're going to Quinella it with Autumn Glory. But I hope she wins. Oh, she did. I Hope He Wins. Bolted in the Oaks. Second over was Autumn Glory. Third, Single Red. And then there's a photo. Ariadne with If I Give and the Ducks. And behind them next was Tajana, Ultimate Habit, followed by Fly Zeno. Then came Unbounded, Savina. A gap back, Sweet Talking Gal, Acer. Further away, Born to Be Royal. And then Crimson Sky, Clara Bow and Savvy Donna. We've seen one. We have seen one at her last 3 starts, to be fair, but she's done it again today from a near impossible position on the corner. But she does it in the manner that suggests this will not be her last Group 1 win. I hope I haven't put the mocker on her, but in those famous Yulong colours, they've run 1 and 2. I hope he wins, trained by Lance O'Sullivan and Andrew Scott and Joe Doyle. What a performance. Sent out the favourite on some pick.
Starting to do my job there a little bit, won't he, the commentator? He needs to know his place, really. Just commentate on the race and then stay quiet. It was a very interesting New Zealand Oaks. The first time we have looked at the race, and it is fair to say that it was a very impressive winner on the day, winning by 2 1/4 lengths. Oh Hope He Wins, the favourite on the day, sired by Ocean Park out of a dam called Shoemania, who herself was sired by Reduced Choice. Oh Hope He Wins, trained by Lance O'Sullivan and Andrew Scott and ridden by Joe Doyle on the day. A racing post rating of 105 was good enough to secure the New Zealand Oaks on the day. Second place, 2 1/4 lengths behind, was Autumn Glory. Autumn Glory, another one sired by Ocean Park out of a dam called Venus's Dream, who herself was sired by Viscount. Autumn Glory was trained by Roger James and Robert Wellwood and ridden by Wiremu Pin. And the horse ran to a mark of 99 to finish second in the New Zealand Oaks. Third place on the day was Single Red, a horse sired by Vanbrugh out of a dam called Sea Dweller, who herself was sired by High Chaparral. Single Red was trained by Andrew Forsman and ridden by O.P. Boston, and a racing post rating of 97 was good enough to secure New Zealand Oaks placed efforts for Single Red. Like I said, no Classic Watch horse in that race. Unfortunately, it was a bit too early. Like the commentator said, a 1-2 there for owners Yulong Investments with Oh Hope Wins and Autumn Glory. The next race we're going to take a look at now is we're going to head to Australia for the first time in this video. And we've obviously had a couple of classics in the first part of the Australian season, which starts really in August until before this video in December. We had some in October and November. But we're back on the Australian Classic Trail now, and we're heading to Flemington to take a look at the Australian Guineas, a race that was held, I think, on the same day as the next South African race we're going to look at, which was the 28th of February, 2026. Classic Watch 26.great/site.net actually had 2 horses earning for it in the Australian Guineas. They were 2 that turned up in the Guineas in previous videos. Observer, classic winner for the site, and West of Swindon, again, renewing acquaintances. West of Swindon, this would be, I think, his second classic that he is running in at the moment. Observer is already a classic winner for the site in previous videos. So it remains to be seen, really, whether Observer could take out a second classic here, the Australian Guineas at Flemington. So without further ado, let's take a look at the race and then we can see what we think afterwards.
A romantic encounter from the centre, jumped away very fast with Bing Eye. Observers out well, 60s out pretty well towards the outer midfield at this stage, and West of Swindon's also punching up. Express Class is a bit closer today, 60s 5 deep into that first corner. So after 300 metres, the leader Romantic Encounter by about a length and a half as 60s is sweeping across. Observer is right underneath the second favourite here, and they're 2.5 West of Swindon, followed by Express Class, Bing Eye, Officiate, Victoria's Spirit, Planet Red well back with On a Vuitton. Romantic Encounter, 1,000 metres to go, spreads them, and that was able to give 60s the one-off cover on the outside. They were followed by Observer, and they're about 2.5 lengths West of Swindon. Express Class, a length and a quarter, Bing Eye, Officiate well back. Then Victoria's Spirit, 2 lengths Planet Red, and last On a Vuitton. 700 metres to go. Romantic Encounter, the leader, by a length and a quarter, 60s. Third, the inside Observer. Fourth is West of Swindon. Then Express Class, Bing Eye. Eye. Officiate well back in the field. Victoria's Spirit, Planet Red and On a Vuitton as they run for home in the Guineas at the 500 metres. Romantic Encounter by a length to 60s. A beautiful run appears for Observer the inside. Then came West of Swindon. Express Class flat to the boards. And then came Bing Eye. Up on the inside, Observer at the 250. Took the front from 60s. A half length off it. Then West of Swindon, Romantic Encounter. Observer at the 150. Led by a half length. 60s is trying so very hard. Planet Red late. But Observer's in front. And Observer won the Guineas. Second, Planet Red, I'd say, from 60s and Victoria's Spirit. Back behind those horses, Bing Eye. Then Express Class, West of Swindon, On a Vuitton, Romantic Encounter and Officiate. Observer wins. Ethan Brown, the fourth horse to win the Derby and the Australian Guineas double. On the World Pool that loves favourites, $1.55 he got into, $1.55 and 105. But sat behind them, a beautiful run appeared, every chance given to both the two favourites. Planet Red was the late stormer, but Observer, he's a
good horse. I think the commentator was going to say there. And it is impossible for me, really, not to agree with them. Observer has taken out the third classic of Classic Watch 2026 and the second that he has taken out. 3 classics won before a classic is ran in places like Europe, Australia, France, Ireland. You know, this site really, Classic Watch 26.great/site.net, my own personal site, has taken out 3 classics before March. Observer, the odds-on favourite on the day, sired by Gayath, out of a dam called Smooth, who herself is sired by Lonro. Good enough to win the Australian Guineas. Observer, trained by Kieran Marr and ridden by Ethan Brown, running to a racing post rating of 117. Good enough to secure that race at the moment. Second place on the day was Planet Red, a gelding. Unfortunately, sired by Admire Mars, out of a dam called Lucky Helmet, who herself was sired by Helmet. Planet Red, trained by Mick Prince and Michael Kent Jr. and ridden by Jamie Mellon. That horse ran to a racing post rating of 115 on the day. Third on the day was 60s, a good solid effort, serving it up to Observer. 60s, sired by Flying Artie, out of a dam called Gracie's Lass, who herself is sired by Reduced Choice. 60s, sired by by Chris Waller and ridden by Damien Lane, secured a racing post rating also of 115 for that race. Fourth on the day was another one sired by Gayath. He had a good race in that day. Victoria's Spirit was fourth, sired by Gayath, out of a dam called Cornelia Marie, who herself was sired by Reset. Victoria's Spirit was trained by Peter G. Moody and Catherine Coleman and ridden on the day by Zach Spain. And he was another one, a gelding, that ran to a mark of 115. So 2 colts and 2 geldings in the first 4 of the Australian Guineas. Fantastic to see Observer take out his third classic. We'll take a look at West of Swindon on the day. Finished 6th, the 25 to 1 shot, sired by Wootton Bassett, out of a dam called Fife, who herself was sired by Starcraft. Another one trained by Kieran Marr, ridden by Ben Allen on the day. West of Swindon ran to a racing post rating of 111. Safe to say the horse never disgraced himself without managing to be good enough to get a placed effort, rather like the way he ran in the Guineas that we took a look at earlier in the playlist. But yeah, excuse me, Observer good enough to take out the third classic for Classic Watch 26. A fantastic effort, and long may the horse thrive. I'm assuming there might be another classic on the way, because if people look at Observer, they will see now that the horse has won his last 4 races, six races this season, 4 wins, a second and a third. And the horse you will see is lined up in the Rosehill Guineas on the 21st of March 2026. So there could be a third classic on the way for Observer. The horse still entered in the Doncaster Mile and the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. No Derby entries there. People will notice the horse is already a Derby winner. don't forget, winning the Victorian Derby. Safe to say, Observer has been a credit to Connections and a credit to my little website. All right, the last race we're going to take a look at on this video is an interesting race, I think. It is the Cape Derby. The first middle distance classic we're going to take a look at in South Africa was also run on the 28th of February 2026. All the horses had had another 2 or 3 months since the race, as we looked at earlier in the video, and I since decided to chance one in this race. We had, I think it was Happy Verse, wasn't it? Let's have a look. We'll take a look at the South African trained horses on the site. You'll see there that Princess of Gaul, who we've already looked at her race, was on the go, and there we have Happy Verse, a 3-year-old colt who finished 4th, I think, in the Cape Guineas. We kept the horse on side up to a couple of furlongs for the Cape Derby, and so it was a first Classic Watch 26 colt, really, in favour to go with the filly. So this race was 1 mile 2 furlongs, not 1.5 miles. This Cape Derby. It's an interesting race, and let's take a look at it now, shall we? And then we will see what we think.
All in. It's up. Gates crash back, and they're racing away. Better Man hopped out best from the deepest draw, ventures forward. Happy Verse right there. Viva's Libertés in the yellow and black, and 3rd in the early part. Then came Star Major. Pay the Palace races away in 5th spot, racing around 5 lengths from the leader. Then we found Wish List, black and white, the white cap back against the rail. Gives the leaders about 7 lengths start, and she's got a pace to work with. So too does Note to Self, who races 1 from last, and Ignite the Fire a bit awkward at the back of the field as they commence down the back straight. They got just over 1,400 metres left to run. New leader Viva's Liberté takes them along, has the lead by 2. Better Man couldn't be happier in 2nd. A further 3 lengths away, Happy Verse races away in 3rd in the blue and orange. Then came Star Major in the purple and white. Then we go a further length away to Wish List. She made a place. She went ahead of Pay the Palace, who races in 6th, and they've got a really good pace to work with. Note to Self is 1 from last, and Ignite the Fire at the back of the field. They're halfway through the Lucky Fish Cape Derby. 1,000 metres left to run. Viva's Liberté in control of the pace, a 2-length leader. Racing away in 2nd is Better Man, then a further breakaway to Happy Verse. Now Ignite the Fire is now allowed to improve in the Aquamarine at the outside. Went from last to 3rd. Next best Star Major, 5th place, and will swing for home, racing roughly 5 lengths off the leader. Wish List, Pay the Palace, and finally Note to Self. If Note to Self wins, he'll have to be really, really good. He's about 10 lengths off the leader. 600 metres left to go. Viva's Liberté brought them in. Better Man 2nd. Happy Verse, Ignite the Fire to the outside. Star Major, every chance in the middle of the course. Then came Pay the Palace, Wish List 2 off the inside, and Note to Self. They got mobile together. Leader is Viva's Liberté, but Wish List in no time whatsoever went up to go and join. Then came Happy Verse, Star Major to the outside. Next best is Note to Self. 150 out the filly Wish List on the cusp of history. A 2-length leader, and Wish List for the first time this millennium. A filly has won the Lucky Fish Cape Derby. Wish List 1. 2nd Note to Self. 3rd goes to Viva's Liberté, and 4th Star Major. Wish List, daughter of Legislate, with Richard Furry up for Justin Snaith, owned by Jonathan Block and Nancy Hossack. Bred by Main Chance Farms, back-to-back Grade 1s. The last time a filly won this race was 1999, when Michael Ducott won with Dog Rose. And Wish List has done the job. She was not herself today as well. The 2nd horse is going to win something big. Watch the space. Note to Self 2nd. He came from last. Ooh, I'm looking forward to Durban. And if not Durban, this time next year, Cape Summer. Viva's Liberté 3rd, cracking run. Star Major, Happy Verse, Pay the Palace, Better Man, and Ignite the Fire. Career earnings go past 1.5.
Well, to be honest, there I was a bit disappointed with the Classic Watch selection on the day. Happy Verse. I'd seen the horse run well in the Cape Guineas, and I was hoping for a little bit better there than what we got. It's safe to say. But the results of the Lucky Fish Cape Derby, Grade 1, held at Kenilworth, a win for the filly Wish List, sired by Legislate, out of a dam called Windchill, who herself was sired by Silvano. Wish List was trained by Justin Snaith and ridden by Richard Furey, running to a Racing Post rating of 111. Note to self, the fast finishing Gelding finished second, sired by Fuchara, out of a dam called Gilding Light, who herself is out of a Judd Pot, I think that is. Here on my missing screen, Judd Pot, yes, another one. Trained by Justin Snaith and ridden on the day by Grant van Niekerk. Note to self came out the best horse in the race when the adjusted ratings for weight allowances were given. 114 on the day, but the Gelding not managing to take out the race. Another Gelding, sadly, was third, Viva's Liberté, a horse sired by Vercingetorix out of Viva Maria, who herself was sired by Jetmaster. Viva's Liberté trained by Candice Bass and ridden by Craig Zaki, Racing Post rating of 109 on the day. And in fourth place was Star Major, a colt sired by Carrari, out of Star in the Sky, who herself was sired by Silvano. Star Major trained by James Crawford and ridden by Luyolo. That's a good one, isn't it? Luyolo McSothwa. I think there's some clicking in there, but I can't do that because I'm not African. 109, the racing pace rating for Star Major. Happy Verse, a very interesting horse, I do think. We could only finish fifth. So we've had a fourth and a fifth, really, in the first two Classic Watch efforts in South African racing. Happy Verse, sired by Vercingetorix, out of a dam called Song of Happiness, as we know, sired by Giant's Causeway. Happy Verse, trained by Justin Snaith and ridden by Gavin Lorena, a Racing Post rating of 108 on the day for the fifth placed Classic Watch 26 selection. So again, we had a filly, two Geldings and two colts finishing in the first five of the Cape Derby. And that is in fact the last race we're going to look at in this video. We are now at February, the end of February 2026. So we're as up to date now with the reviews of classics as we have been for a good few months, it is fair to say. A quick look at Happy Verse, the Classic Watch selection. You'll see there that the horse did let us down as well in the Grade 3 Politician Stakes, where the horse could only finish second on the 31st of January. That was after finishing second in the Cape Guineas, you see. To finish fifth in the Cape Derby has to be seen, in my view, as a little bit of a disappointment, really. The horse is yet to win a pattern race. The horse has only won an open race, the Winter Country Championship final. You know, the horse has been beaten in a few pattern races now, including in two Group 1s, but the horse was managed Classic placed, although that was before the horse was actually on our side. But we did include it for the Cape Derby, and the horse finished fifth. Right, I think I can think about wrapping up this video here now. Thank you very much for those who have taken the time to sit and watch this video with me as I'd say in making it. I hope you have enjoyed it. What we can do in this video is we can put an opportunity for everybody who has sat and watched this video to subscribe to the channel. That way they will never miss any of my content moving forward if they do some work with their YouTube notifications and enable them correctly. They will be able to not miss a video that I put on my YouTube channel. What I can also do is I can put a copy of the Classic Watch 26 review playlist. This will obviously only be the third video on the playlist, and it is the first video to focus solely on Classic Watch 26 with no Classic Watch 25 horses on it at all. So I will give you all an opportunity to keep up with how Classic Watch 26 is doing up to this point by watching the previous Classic Watch 26 review videos. And that's about it, really. That's about all I can do for you in this video. I hope to be back in due course, taking a look at more Classic Watch horses. We've got plenty of reviewing to do. Still got another Classic Watch review video from March to do. And there's also the first Spring National Hunt Festival, the Cheltenham Festival from the UK, which took place last week, which also needs review videos done. But don't forget also to check the Patreon channel, Newman Racing on Patreon, for other content as well that you might be able to find. But yeah, I think I'm going to end this video now. What we've got coming up this week, well, you've already seen that it is in fact the Rosehill Guineas out in Australia. Classic weekend this week, where Classic Watch 26 horse Observer will bid for his third classic of the season. I don't think we have had one win that many. We had Broadside in and Lady Shenandoah, the first two Australian classic winners on Classic Watch 25, but they only managed to take one classic out apiece. So already the site is improving. New Zealand and South Africa added to the Classic Watch 26 Southern Hemisphere portfolio for the first time this year. Plenty more to come, I think. Stay tuned, I think, is the best advice I can give you for more Classic Watch 26 possibles and various review videos as we head into the second quarter of 2026. But for now, I will say take care and leave this video here now. Take care, everybody. I will be back soon. Like I said, look after yourselves and your loved ones, everybody. Take care, and I'll be back soon. Goodbye, everybody. And hopefully I'll be back soon.